Okay, so how can I go from the IR to post that on the IR page?
Good morning and welcome everyone.
Hello.
I'm Mike Fasullo, President and COO of Sony Electronics North America, and I am extremely excited to be here with all of you in New York City as Sony's imaging group makes yet another set of global product and innovation announcements this morning. Now, some of you may be familiar with a term we use as the expression of how we want customers, you included, to feel emotionally when you come in contact with Sony. And that expression is called kando. And kando is paid off no better than through a category like imaging. Because what kando is intended to do is tap into your curiosity and, most importantly, your creativity. And we all know the passion of imaging does just that. And today, we will validate that Sony Imaging does just that. So you may be wondering, why are we holding a press conference, a global press conference, 4 weeks post-CES? And we had a very large audience and press conference at CES. Well, it's actually quite logical. First of all, many of you probably weren't even at CES. And those of you that were know that it's a very large, noisy event. And in this category, we want to be as close to the customer set as possible, and again, tap into that emotion of kando. So we held off on these great announcements so that we can be here with you today and really reach cinematographers, photographers, hobbyists, enthusiasts, and everyone in between. And we're very excited about that. And not only are we excited about that, we're excited about this piece of information, which is fact. The fact is, Sony is leading in the imaging space since the introduction and growth of our interchangeable lens cameras and lenses. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our head of digital imaging for North America, Mr. Neil Manowitz.
Thank you, Mike. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I want to dig in what Mike talked about on the market. And the market is drastically changing. If we look in specifically at our interchangeable lens camera business, Sony's growing dramatically. We're up 40% year over year, entire year 2015. Unfortunately, while DSLR is continuing to decline. But if we think about interchangeable lens cameras, we really can't just think about the bodies. This is about a system. It's about lenses. So I want to share with you also some information about the lens business. And I'm extremely proud and pleased to share with you that the story on the lens side is equally staggering. Sony is up 43% year over year, while the DSLR market continues to decline. So why is this happening? Why are we seeing such growth? It really comes back to that core customer that we're really serving. And it comes to about the mission that we have. We have a very strong belief and strong passion around this mission. And that is to create the whole new imaging experience that has never existed before. So what does that mean actually in layman terms? We're talking about innovation that no one else is doing. If we think back from 2013 to where we are today, there's so many innovative products, so many amazing things that have come to the market to really serve that customer. From the original A7, the world's first mirrorless interchangeable lens camera, brought an entirely new creativity and inspiration to a whole new level. Then if we think about recently, the A7R Mark II. So many positive, amazing reviews and feedback from our customers that really broke the notion that sensitivity and resolution were mutually exclusive. And of course, the A6000. The A6000 was the camera that brought the world's fastest autofocus. And it's been extremely popular. We hear constantly the feedback of how popular this camera is. So we dug in and wanted to share with you exactly how popular is it. So the A6000 has been the #1 selling mirrorless camera ever. But it's not just about mirrorless cameras. Let's talk about the entire interchangeable lens camera market. And there, if you take above $600, the A6000 has been the #1 selling interchangeable lens camera, more than any DSLR, more than any other mirrorless camera in the industry. So today, we have two innovations that we're going to talk about. I'm going to first talk about the first one. And today, I'm so proud to introduce our latest innovation to the Alpha lineup, and that is the A6300. So the A6300 takes a big dramatic step forward in still imaging, video imaging, and autofocus capabilities. It features a brand new 24 megapixel CMOS sensor that uses a unique copper wiring that dramatically improves the speed of the sensor, but also dramatically improves the sensitivity. Additionally, we have an autofocus system that can focus down to 5/100ths of a second, and also have 425 phase detection autofocus points. Has 11 frames per second continuous shooting, and also can record video 4K internally. Let's look at the autofocus system in more detail. 5/100ths of a second. That is the world's fastest of any camera. 425 phase detection autofocus points is the world's most. We've also introduced a brand new feature called high density tracking autofocus. So during fast motion, we activate a large number of autofocus points around that moving object to really intelligently track, as you saw in the video. Additionally, we borrowed a feature from our A7R Mark II, which is the on-sensor phase detection, completely removing the world of camera to lens connectivity. Now you can open up the A6300 to a wide variety of lenses, including all of our email lenses via adapter. Next, not quite a month ago at CES, a camera company mentioned in their press conference the importance of speed and responsiveness. At Sony, we agree. Instead of using optical and mechanical system-based decades-old technology, we leverage our image sensors and our software algorithms to deliver the world's fastest and most tenacious autofocus system with coverage density no separate autofocus module can match. We use it to create the world's first viewfinder to combine the advantages of an electronic display with the immediacy of a DSLR's optical viewfinder. Let's take a quick look at a video we shot through the viewfinder of the A6300 and a comparably priced competitor's DSLR.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Note, the A6300 is not only shooting faster, but doing so with less blackout. The A6300 truly connects you with the action like no other camera can. Let's talk about the video functionality. So for starters, we capture 4K movie recording in Super 35mm format that's using 20 megapixels. So what we're doing is taking a 6K signal and oversampling that to provide a 4K movie that is just simply stunning in clarity and detail that's uncomparable. The full pixel readout and no pixel binning, and an amazing wide dynamic range of 14 stops. Ultimately, this is the best 4K video quality ever from Sony in a consumer camera. Here's a brief clip to illustrate. Amazing. Thank you. So all these features and all this innovation coming in March, starting at just $1,000 for the body. The A6300 is the perfect addition to our Alpha lineup. What do you think? But at first I talked about we have two innovations. I described the first, but to talk about our second innovation, I want to introduce Yas Nagata, my friend, worldwide head of lens and peripherals.
Thank you, Neil. I'm Yas Nagata. I oversee lens and peripheral business in Digital Imaging Group. As you know, the camera's resolution have advanced dramatically in recent years. Since the launch of our full-frame interchangeable lens camera, Alpha 7 series, in 2013, we have been consistently developing full-frame lenses that put strong emphasis on resolution. This advancement of resolution will continue and go even further, facing an era of higher resolution for still camera. And for movies, the spread of higher resolution is accelerating from full HD to 4K and beyond. In conjunction with the resolution, beautiful bokeh will become even more essential to enrich creators' artistic expressions, which only camera with large size sensor can realize. In addition, we see the boundaries between professional photography and videography breaking down. As an innovator for creative expression in imaging, we will continue to advance our camera performance. With this clear vision of our future camera, lenses must evolve further. Today, we are proud to introduce a new brand for Sony's unique flagship lenses. It's G Master. G Master is a supreme blend of high resolution and beautiful bokeh that expands creators' imaging expression infinitely, which has been previously unattainable. The G Master is truly ahead of the curve to meet the vision of our future camera. Let me introduce our first G Master lens. It's 2470 f2.8. And that's not all for today. We are also launching 85 1.4. Here you go. And even one. Even 7200 f2.8. They're able to do lens. You like it? Okay. We will launch the first lineup of G Master with 3 lenses and 2 teleconverters. Mark Weir will explain the product details shortly, but before I hand over the microphone to him, please take a look at our concept video. Thank you very much.
Lens standards are changing. Advances in camera performance and soaring creative ideals demand a new approach to lens technology. Lenses must evolve to remain ahead of the curve. With a clear vision of cameras of the future, Sony now redefines the lens. G Master.
Overwhelming resolution that far exceeds my imagination. This lens tells a story with power and surprises me on every level. Unbelievably sharp still images and 4K video. It's a new level of clarity, even in the dark.
50 lines per millimeter is the baseline for the G Master, and overwhelming resolution measures up to the continuing evolution of camera bodies.
It's bokeh with quality that speaks to the heart. It's really expanded my artistry.
Bokeh is so sophisticated that it unleashes potential for expression unlike any I've ever witnessed. It has exceeded my demands as a professional 150%.
Express yourself like never before with spectacular bokeh that only 0.01 micron accuracy delivers. Experience new imaging with spectacular resolution and brilliant bokeh. Tomorrow's lenses today from Sony. G Master.
Well, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to follow Nagata-san with an announcement like that, but my job is to speak to you today about some of the technology that's in these lenses and to give you some further detail. So I'll remember to pick up this and go into it. So as Nagata-san mentioned, what we are trying to accomplish with G-Master, our target, is to combine high resolution and very, very sophisticated bokeh and background defocusing characteristics. And as the leader in digital imaging sensors, and in terms of not only market share, but also in terms of what we're doing with innovation, we can see the future of where image sensor design is going and camera design is going, and that gives us a unique ability to figure where we're going to go with lens design. And keeping the resolving power of lenses up to speed with the advances in image sensor is something that's been discussed widely in the industry, and we're happy to tell you about what we're doing in that regard. So first, let me touch upon the issue of what we're doing with resolution. And this is one of the founding parts of what we're doing with G-Master. The first thing we're doing is we're realizing that resolving power needs to increase dramatically as sensor capability increases. It's no secret that the resolving power of many lenses that people are using on digital cameras today is really designed in the days of film. And we all know that what image sensors can do is now putting greater demands on lenses. So what we've done with G-Master is from the beginning, from the design stage, we've realized that we have to take resolution and resolving power to a higher level. And as we mentioned in the video and some of the initial slides, we're actually working on 50 line pairs per millimeter as our baseline standard. And I think if you take a look at the lenses that are in the world today, 10 line pairs per millimeter or 30 line pairs per millimeter is really the standard that most are using for measurement and design. So we're going to take that up quite a bit with G-Master, and we're doing it largely because of some of the elements that we're able to create through our advanced glass molding technology. And we're introducing with G-Master what we're calling XA elements, or extreme aspherical. And what we can do here with our advanced glass molding is make some very radical aspherical shapes, and we can also bond two elements together to create an XA element, which really helps us take resolution to the next level. And it really shows in the MTF charts. Not only are we realizing tremendous advances in resolving power in the center, but also at the edges. And even though I realize that this is just a television monitor, what we've done is taken a very large image and shown you with a very large enlargement what we can do at the corners. We also have some demo prints in another part of the exhibit, so you'll be able to see this much more clearly than what we can display on a television monitor. But the idea of outstanding resolution to keep up with image sensors as we move forward into the future is one of the cornerstones of what we're doing with G-Master. The next one is a little bit more ethereal, if you will, a little bit more artistic, and that is what we're doing in the area of bokeh and background defocusing and the nature of the background defocusing. We've discovered that the lifelike nature of an image, the really realistic characteristic of an image, not only a still image, but also in videography, is determined by the nature of the background defocusing. And through study, we've realized that in many cases, if the shift from the sharply focused area to the defocused area is abrupt or artificial, it really takes away from the lifelike nature of the image. And we've put a lot of study into this, and we've realized that the abrupt shift from sharply focused to defocused background is often the result of lack of precision in the elements, and also less than optimal positioning in the optical path and the design. So we've put a lot of emphasis into this, and this is a complicated slide that you may not really be able to see that well on the TV. But what we've been able to do with our glass molding is we've been able to shape the lenses to within 1/100th of a micron surface precision. And in so doing, we've been able to eliminate abrupt shifts in defocus characteristics to realize a smooth transition in the background defocus, which really makes the image stand out as being very highly lifelike. And again, it's difficult to show in a slide here, but when you see the demo prints that we'll show you, and also you'll see in the demo video that we'll close with, it has a tremendous effect on the impact of the image as you view it. Another thing we've been able to do is develop simulation technology. In the past, you would not really be able to judge the results of optical path design until after it was built, which is kind of an inefficient way to do things. But we've developed simulation technology which allows the engineers to look at the effect of the optical design in advance of building it, and therefore to optimize the position and the design of the elements to yield the results that they're looking for. So this is a very significant development, and we've put a lot of our engineering power into it, and I believe you'll be able to see this in the results you'll see from the lenses. A third area is optimization for both still and video, and we've talked about this in the past, and we've actually delivered some lenses, but we've taken it to the next level with G Master. We've advanced what we're doing in our focus actuator technology, and we've further developed not only our supersonic motor technology, but our direct drive supersonic motor technology. We've introduced this in prior smaller lenses in the past, but now we've scaled up this technology to allow the heavy focus groups that are involved with f2.8 and other wide aperture lenses, so that we can move the focus groups very, very rapidly through their entire stroke, and also be able to move them with incredible precision. We're able to deliver 1/100th of a millimeter positioning precision on the focus drive mechanism. And we use different focus drive mechanisms on all three of these different lenses. For instance, on the 2470, we're using a direct drive SSM. We're using a ring drive SSM on the 85. And the one that's I find most incredible, if this lens looks a lot like our 70-200 f4, it does. It's really not much bigger at all. And part of it is the focus group arrangement. We actually have two different focus groups, one in the front and one in the rear, and we drive them with different actuators optimized for this. This not only helps us with the design of the lens, but it also optimizes them for both still and video, because the focus drive is silent, the iris activation is silent, which is really perfect for video. It also will continuously autofocus at a very, very rapid rate while rolling, which is something that a lens designed for an SLR is really, really challenged with. There's so many other things that I could tell you about with this, but I recognize that I'm what's standing between you and our next speaker, so I'll finish up very quickly by going through the models. The first of these is the 2470. This is really our optimum standard zoom with groundbreaking resolution and all of the advances that we've put together with our research for smooth defocusing. An example image, you can see these were recently shot in Iceland by Hiro-san, a director of photography who's actually with us today, and you'll see some of his work very soon. So we're very happy with the performance of this lens, and it's really the perfect standard zoom, the ultimate for professional portraiture, travel, and event photography. There's so many parts to it, but again, it features the XA extremispheric element in its optical path. This model will be introduced in March of this year, and we'll position this in the US at $2,200 and in Canada at $2,900. Next lens, as Nagata-san mentioned, is the long-awaited 85 f1.4, one of my favorites. So another image of this lens, which really shows off the bokeh characteristics here. Again, going from sharply defocused to a very smooth defocused background. You can see in this image here. This also uses the extremispheric element construction, a very quiet SSM ring drive motor. Obviously, for portrait photographers, the wide aperture, high-speed portrait photographers, and again, equally adept at capturing sharply focused, not only all the way out to the corners, but rendering a beautiful defocused background so essential for portrait photography. So this model will also reach the market in March. This will be positioned at $1,800 in the US and $2,400 in Canada. And then our third, probably where we put a tremendous amount of effort, 70-200 f2.8. Many had been asking for f2.8 zooms for our A7 series cameras, and this is one of the great ones. And again, all of these lenses are using similar technology when it comes to the element construction, but also I'd also be remiss if I didn't point out that one of the things that we can do with an FE lens is we can design it around the short retrofocus distance of a mirrorless camera. And that provides the optical engineer with tremendous flexibility because there's no reason to space the lens away from the imaging plane to make room for a mirror. So here's another wonderful image. This is, again, one of Hirosan's images from Iceland, and you'll see this in the video. I think everybody understands what a 70-200 f2.8 does for a sports photographer, but really the ideal choice for sports, fast action, or also for compressed telephoto for portraiture, an ideal lens for that. Tremendous rendering capability through the XA optical design, but also, again, something you wouldn't expect in a lens like this, again, due to its dual floating AF arrangement. Under a meter of close focusing distance, 0.96 meter in terms of minimum focusing distance. Not many 70-200s are going to do that. And again, with what we can do with the construction. So we haven't set the price for this model, but we are confident that it will reach the market in May. So we'll have more updates on that soon. And then 2 teleconverters. These are designed for use with the 70-200 f2.8. They're exclusive to this lens, 1.4x and a 2x teleconverter, specially designed for this lens, and pricing and availability for that will be available in the near future. So that's a brief look behind the scenes in what we've done with the G-Master lenses. And then we have a really cool video to show you, again, shot by Hirosan. And if we can roll the video. Pretty cool, don't you think? Thanks. So obviously seeing is believing, or shooting is believing, so we want to get these into your hands as soon as we can. And I know that Matt is going to say something about that. It's always good to be a good friend of Matt. But before we bring Matt up, he'll comment on that a bit. But it's my pleasure to introduce Pulitzer Prize-winning photographer Brian Smith, who's going to tell you about some of his experiences.
So these are the lenses everybody's been clamoring for, and I'm proud to say, in the words of Terry Hatcher from Seinfeld, they're real and they're spectacular. I get to do the cool stuff. It's like they roll out all this great technology and I get to play with it. So I know one of the lines that was used at CES, for those of you guys who were there, are enablers of creativity. And to me, that's a nutshell what Sony's doing. It's making it easier for me to shoot and be creative. So I had the opportunity to take these things out last week to New Orleans for a week. And shooting around there, the way, this lineup of lenses is perfect for the travel or street photographer, because you can, really cover a wide range of scenes. I think I've used the line before that 90% of what I shoot could be done with the 24-70 and 85-1.4. So thank you so much. And really, the combination of, it's always been kind of elusive before, lenses that had great bokeh. There's always been Sony's A-mount 24-70 Zeiss lens and their 85-1.4 Zeiss. And I'm proud to say these things are better than expected. So they'll deliver the type of look and resolution that I know a lot of users are really after. So me as a portrait photographer, 24-70 comes in so handy for times when I'm capturing a portrait and I want some environment around it. So this is the founder of the Treme brass band down in Armstrong Park, shot at dusk. It's just really a great lens to be able to capture, the wide panorama around the subject. Beautiful color, as with all of Sony's lenses. And to me, one of the reasons I really love 24-70 is it lets me really quickly change from a wide angle, full frame shot at 35 millimeters to coming in very tight and capturing the finest detail at 70 millimeters. Kind of that nice focal length for a tight, intimate portrait. Can't go to New Orleans without shooting cemeteries, so we did a fashion shoot there. And it's just, the color's really spectacular from these lenses. I didn't expect anything else from Sony, but they keep over-delivering on their promise. In addition to setting up portraits, a lot of times I just want to walk around and have the freedom to look for an interesting shot. Capturing lines and patterns, beautiful in black and white as well. Here's down in Cajun country, this was an Arcadian accordion player, I'm trying to say that fast, down on his front step, and it's just really great quality of light. But also in low light, I went out and went to one of the parades. This is the Chewbacca parade. And so you have this sci-fi theme to everything. And I was like the only photographer shooting, thanks to the A7R's great low light capability, I was the only photographer out there shooting available light. Everybody else had flash and trying to burn in the ambient. I just worked with the light we had. So lighting from lightsabers. And it really, this combination now gives you the freedom to shoot in all types of light, capture fine detail. And the bokeh that everyone was talking about earlier, you can kind of see this. This is the 85-1.4 wide open at 1.4 in one of the bars in New Orleans. And you see how the background, the out of focus, gets just perfectly cylindrical look from the round iris. So people that are really into bokeh are going to love this lens as well. And yet the lenses are also exceptionally sharp, as I was talking about. This is one of the dancer in one of the parades. And this is, the typical use, great use of an 85 type portrait, shot wide open at 1.4. And from this, if we zoom in right here just on the eye, you'll see how accurate Sony's focus system is, where it's not the eyelashes that are in focus, it's actually the iris of the eye. It zooms into that type of detail. But it's not just great for portraits. My good friend Mike is always kicks off his, includes an image at CES of his dog Stella. So I thought in honor of that, I'd include some friends for Stella. This is the Barkus Parade. Maybe Stella needs to make a trip to New Orleans next year with Mike. There we go. Because you can meet all kinds of new friends. I mean, what lady doesn't like a new outfit? So thank you all very much. Now, Mike, why don't you come back on stage and take it from here? So, thank you, my friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Smith. Stella's going to love those friends. So I'm confident that this morning, with our global announcements of innovation, that we've wowed you both in body and in lens, and some might even say it was disruptive. And I say you're right, it is disruptive, but it's disruptive in that we are giving photographers and hobbyists the tools that they need so that they can unleash that creativity and curiosity that I spoke to earlier. So now you may be thinking, well, if that's the presentation part, what are we going to do next? Well, we're actually going to give you an opportunity to tap into your personal emotion, or as we say, your personal condo. So we're about to transform this studio, and to give us some details on what that will look like or what we will do next, let me introduce Matt Parnell. Matt?
I always get to do the fun stuff. So you might be thinking, the invitation said 9:30 to 12:30. It's 10:45. What are we going to do for the next 2 hours? Well, as Mike said, we're going to transform this studio into a shooting event for everybody. I'm happy to say that we have 85 f1.4 and 24 f2.8 G Master lenses available for everybody to shoot immediately. The way that this is going to work, I need everyone to please try to be as civil as you possibly can. We have a product table over here on your right, and what I'll ask everybody to do once we wrap this is kind of form a line, come around here. We'll be checking out an A7R Mark II, brand new A7R Mark II, with one of either of the two new lenses on it. Everything we have in the studio is going to transform into a full set. So to the left here, as you'll see, once we start opening this up, we have an action shoot. It's called the Sony Gym. We have martial artists, we have people playing basketball, we have gymnasts. That set is also going to be the set that's focused mostly on our new A6300. We have tethered samples of A6300 in that set. Those are not final quality, so unfortunately you can't share images from those, but I will say all the A7R Mark IIs that you guys are going to get have SD cards inside. Those SD cards are yours to keep, and you can post immediately. So we had the most extreme Wi-Fi system we could get brought in here for everybody. It's an open network, Sony Press Media, you should see it. What we're gonna do is kind of ask you guys to get up, walk around. We're gonna put cocktail tables out here for you to sit down, maybe do work. The rest of the shooting demos I'll talk you guys through. So I mentioned the action shoot. Right behind you, we're going to have a portrait shoot. That's going to be run by Miguel Quiles, one of our artisans. And we're going to have a bunch of models going in and out of there. It's a really cool look. I encourage you guys to take as many pictures as you possibly can. We also have a technology demo area that's going to be, everything, exploded displays, product displays, things there for you guys to check out. A really good opportunity for product photography. And then where you guys came in, there's a full Studio 3 on the other side here. And that's also part of our shooting event, and that's just a portrait shoot that's going to be run by Brian Smith. who you just heard from. We also have resolution demos out there. So we have a wall of flowers to test edge-to-edge sharpness. We have a wall of linens to do the same. We have a DJ over there with a really cool, unique look. And I'll also say, as we're kind of breaking down here, the stage is going to transform. We're bringing in a really cool funk band, a cool look, a good sound. We want to create an opportunity for everyone to be creative, use these lenses, take as many images and videos as you possibly can. I will say that this is essentially the only opportunity that anyone is going to get to use these cameras for the next 30 to 45 days. So really take advantage of everything. We'll be in touch as we get closer to that with review samples, etc. But enjoy what we have for you today. We're really excited. We've never been able to do this before for a product announcement. We hope you guys enjoy it, and thank you. That's all.